What's up, guys? So in this video, I'm going to be talking about the Wethepeople CRS. Now, there's a Freecoaster version and there's a normal version. For the sake of the video, this is all about the same bike, and I'll touch on the differences in each version, but for the most part, they're pretty much the same. Now, this bike's okay. It's nothing crazy, and it's just a little over $400. At the end, I'll dig in and I'll tell you straight up whether I recommend it or not. Some of these bikes in the Wethepeople line I have not recommended, and some of them I have, so we will find out. Let's get right into it.
The Dumpster Bomb mission, growing BMX by making it fun and easy to understand. For some of us, it's an escape. For others, it's a passion. But for all of us, it's a lifestyle. You're gonna love this sport. I'm glad you're letting me teach you everything that I know about it.
Now, we're going to start it off by reading what Wethepeople says about the CRS. One of the most anticipated bikes in BMX, the CRS is back for 2021 with even more bang for your buck. Now featuring a sealed front hub, this all-terrain Slayer rolls smoother than ever, packed full of aftermarket parts from ECLAT, including the BIOS pivotal seat and pure seat clamp. The CRS looks and rides like a bike twice the price tag. And then it talks a little bit about the geometry. It's got a short 12.75 inch chainstay, 26mm forks, and 165mm cranks. So that's the bike. They did hype it up just a little bit too much, in my opinion. It's a okay bike, but it's not like, you know, full aftermarket parts from ECLAT, and then all it says is a seat and a seat post, or a seat clamp. That's nothing to brag about. You know, you could buy any seats. I'm really nitpicky today. I don't know why. I'm sorry. But for real, you know, you can't hype up a seat and a seat clamp. It's just like yeah, it's cool, but it's not. Yeah. Come on. Anyway, that's what they say about it. Now let's talk about the price. The CRS is $420, and the CRS Freecoaster is $440. So you're paying an extra $20 to have a Freecoaster, which in my opinion isn't a bad deal. At the end, I'm not going to spoiler alert it, but I'm going to spoiler alert it. I'll probably recommend the Freecoaster version instead of the cassette version, just because the quality to price ratio of the Freecoaster is a lot better than the cassette, and you'll see what I mean by that later. But that's the price of the bike. Let's talk about the colors. Now, the CRS comes in a matte black and a galactic purple. The CRS Freecoaster comes in the same matte black, but also a translucent berry blast. Say that 10 times fast. So, you know, altogether there's 3 different color options, depending on how nitpicky you are. The matte black looks pretty nice because there's a touch of chrome that really cleans the bike up. And then the blue, or the matte galactic purple, looks more like blue to me. And it's just a blue frame, but it's really shiny. Overall, it looks okay. The translucent berry blast is a darkish purple that, to me, I don't really like it. I don't like that color. Again, maybe I'm just being picky, or I don't know, but it doesn't look that great. Now, wait. If you've made it this far, you're probably really enjoying the review, but I'm going to jump in real quick and tell you a little secret on how you can make your bike buying journey a lot easier. So I do free bike recommendations, and it's as simple as filling out a form, letting me look over the information, and then sending you a PDF with 3 different bikes that I think would be perfect for you. So there's a link in the description. Just go fill that out. It asks for your height, your budget, your skill level, and then I can kind of look at that information and pick 3 bikes that are absolutely perfect for you and save you so much time. So let's get back into the video. So now let's talk about the different specs that are actually on the bike and see if it lives up to all the hype that Wethepeople put into that description. It has a 4130 Chromoly down tube, and the rest of the frame is high tensile steel. So if I'm being honest, the down tube, isn't going to make that much of a difference. I mean, yes, it's Chromoly. It's a teeny tiny bit step up in the quality, but it's not enough to really make the bike last longer for you. The chainstay is still going to bend. The top tube can still crack, can still bend when you nose case things. You know, if you're looking at a different bike that's tri-moly or full Chromoly, but you like the color of this bike, it's not worth stepping down to just a Chromoly down tube to sacrifice one of those things. Now, the fork is a high tensile steel with a 4130 Chromoly steer tube. And if you've watched me talk about the other bikes, this bike does not have the Chromoly legs. So when you case a jump, the legs are going to take an impact and the legs are going to bend in. When you disaster, when you nose case, whatever, the legs are going to bend. So that Chromoly steer tube really doesn't do a whole lot for you except make that connection there a little bit stronger and the fork in the tubes. But once you start riding at a level that you're bending the legs of the fork, the Chromoly steer tube doesn't matter. So to me, it's just, there's nothing there, you know? That little bit of Chromoly doesn't make enough of an impact, especially to justify the price. I'm not going to get on that rant right now. We'll talk about that later. Now, the rims are single wall, and if you've heard me talk about single wall rims, you know that I hate them. When you're doing jumps, when you're doing tricks, when you're doing spins, your rims take a lot of impact. And as you start to abuse those rims, single wall rims bend and they fold. So to me, if you're doing spins or you're doing big drops, it's really important that you have some double wall rims. Now, this bike is definitely classified as a beginner bike in my book, and you shouldn't get it if you're riding at a mid-level. You should get it if you're riding at a beginner level, but that is about it. There's a lot of parts on here that say Salt, and Salt mostly just manufactures the parts. There's nothing real aftermarket except the rims. They're Salt single wall rims aftermarket, and that's really about it. There's nothing crazy standing out for me on this bike. So let's talk about the geometry. It has a really small 20.25 inch top tube, a 12.75 inch chainstay. Now the shorter chainstay is going to bring the back wheel closer to you, and it's going to make spins a little easier. It's also going to make it easier to pick the bike up for a manual, but it's going to be harder to control once you're in that manual. So keep that in mind. Now, if you're wondering if the 20.25 inch top tube is right for you, Google Dougster Bob size guide, go to my website. All you have to do is click, it tells you your height, and then you'll know exactly if this is the right size for you or not. I don't know your height, so I can't really tell you. All right, and the standover height is 8.4. This is pretty compressed compared to a lot of other frames. It's not real short like a really responsive park frame, but it's not really tall like a mellow street frame. So it's kind of right there in the middle. So we covered the specs. Now let's talk about how it did in the street section, the park section, the dirt section, the quality section, and the overall style section. And then we'll talk about its overall Dougster Bob score and whether or not I would recommend it. Now for street, it got a 9 out of 40. This is really low, and this is mostly because it doesn't come with pegs, it doesn't come with hub guards, but the normal version does not come with a Freecoaster. The Freecoaster version got an 18 out of 40, so it did a lot better in the street section than the normal CRS. So if you're looking at street, get the CRS Freecoaster, because the Freecoaster is so much better for street riding. It just opens up a whole new world of tricks for you. Now in the park section, both variations got a 13 out of 30, which is a little higher than 33%. I would say this is a good bike for learning the basics of park. If you're learning airs, disasters, tire taps, maybe even foot jams, this would be a good bike to start out on and get comfortable with park riding. In the dirt section, it got a 10 out of 30. The normal CRS got a 10 out of 30. The Freecoaster CRS got a 6 out of 30, and this is because Freecoasters on dirt do not mix very well. If you're stuck in between the jumps, you don't have enough speed, you try and take a half crank, that Freecoaster is really working against you because it's not producing any torque when you do that crank. It's just catching up to the slack. So I do not recommend Freecoasters on dirt. However, the normal CRS is average for dirt riding. So if you do have a pump track or something like that, you can go hit the pump track and then, get your dirt wings, get a little more comfortable on dirt. So for the most important section in my book, the quality section, the CRS got a 6 out of 40. And this is higher than most beginner level bikes because it did have a little bit of chromoly in the down tube, a little bit of chromoly in the forks, but that's about it. This bike doesn't have anything making it a mid-level bike. It's still, low beginner level. It's not even high beginner level. It's just really low beginner level. And it's going to work if you're just starting out on maybe your first real BMX bike. But other than that, it's too low of a quality to withstand to a lot of different tricks. Now the look section, we got a 25 out of 30. It looks like a really good bike. Visually, very appealing, looks very good, and it comes in a couple different color options so you can kind of choose. Now, everything on this bike is fully customizable. So if you want to get a purple headset, you can get a purple headset. If you want to get a black handlebars, you can get black handlebars. You could get neon sprocket. I don't know. But everything kind of interchanges, and that's going to save you a lot of headache. Some people have bikes that are not interchangeable like that. They buy a bunch of aftermarket parts and they can't use them. That's terrible. So this bike will not leave you stranded like that. Good. Now the overall Dougster Bob score, the normal CRS version got a 78 out of 200. This is okay, but again, still on that low end for beginner riders. The Freecoaster version got an 83, so it did get bumped up quite a bit for having a Freecoaster and being a little bit better in the street section. Now, this is totally up to you. I mean, there's a lot of preference that goes into it, but I'd say this is a high 70 score bike. If you want to download the tracker to see how it ranks against, I have a whole list in here of different bikes with different scores. You can do that. The link's in the description. Pop over, download the tracker, and see how your bike ranks up or whatever you want to do with it, I guess. Yeah. So now, who is this bike for? I've already kind of touched on this. It's for a beginner level rider, someone who maybe started out on like a Mongoose bike, a Walmart cheap entry level bike, and they've thrashed it because they learned bunny hops, hopping up curbs, maybe even doing some little feeble grinds at a skate park on a small flat ledge. But now they're ready for a better bike. They want something that can kind of help them progress to the mid-level and take them to become a mid-level rider. This bike is going to help get you there, but once you get to mid-level riding, it is not going to work. So if you're riding at a mid-level, you've wasted your time watching this far into the video. You should be looking at something a lot better. All right, the real question, would I recommend this bike? And again, I'm going to have to give it no. I'm going to say no just because $420. Don't get me wrong, guys. Wethepeople is a great brand. They make really great parts, but the bike just is not worth that to me. It might be, something with how much it costs them in Germany to get it here. I don't know, but $420 is a lot of money. Now, if you like the more responsive geometry, you need a smaller top tube like this one has. I understand that, and then that's where that comes into play. Because a lot of these entry-level bikes are really limited on what you can actually get size-wise. So if you are looking for something with a 12.75-inch chainstay, a 20.25-inch top tube, it's okay to spend a little extra and get something like this. But for the most part, it is overpriced. Now the Freecoaster for $440 is a pretty good deal. There's not very many entry-level bikes like this that do come with a Freecoaster. They don't start to come with Freecoasters till like the Kink Switch for $500. So if you're looking just for the Freecoaster, this is a good choice, only if you get the Freecoaster version. All right, so that's the Wethepeople CRS and the CRS Freecoaster mixed together into one. Sadly, I didn't recommend it for you, but there's still hope. There's a lot of other Wethepeople bikes that might be better. Now, real quick, guys, if you've watched this far, you like what I have to say, you're interested in this, so give me 5 seconds to pitch something to you. Every single Friday, I do a Wethepeople live. Every single Friday, I go live on YouTube for about an hour. Now, this last Friday, I had 800 different comments, and we went for an hour and 40 minutes. And when I say we, there's a whole little community of guys in there. There's like Aiden, Asher, Lucas. There's a bunch of guys that come to every single live. They always have great questions, and we're building a community of people. If you want to be a part of that and you want to come hang out, ask some questions, make some new friends of beginner level riders, come hang out in the live. All you have to do, go to my profile. You can even skip the subscribe button, just scroll all the way to the bottom, and there's upcoming lives. Click on that and get notified when I go live, because the time on Fridays are always different, but it is every single Friday. And I really hope I see you there. I hope I see you in the chat asking those questions, and I really hope you enjoyed this video. Have a good day.